Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure I'd like to welcome you on in tonight to the Race Spec PC Pacific Series. It's round one from Spa-Francorchamps, nestled in the Ardennes Mountains in Belgium. Here is our Grand Prix circuit for tonight. The famous track spans 7 kilometers in length, or 4.3 miles, 19 turns, 2 DRS detection zones and 2 DRS straights, one into La Source and another along the Camel Straight. 19 turns on the track tonight, and we do have 9 to the right and 10 to the left as the lobby goes in. A little bit of a problem with the titling of the stream, but we will try and overcome that very, very soon. Let's take you in now live into the lobby for round one as qualifying is now underway. Let's go to the live scene. I'll get rid of my volume box, pro streamer, and we're going to welcome on in our fellow co-commentator, a Murray Walker fan, if you guys have been around in the maybe the 90s in Formula One, an iconic voice. And here's another one for you guys. Welcome on in to GuardianRGR.
Hey guys, welcome to tonight's Race Spec PC Elite Series. Glad to be here with you.
PC Pacific, sir.
PC Pacific.
PC Pacific, there we go. We'll get there. A few technical issues, but we'll try and get them rectified as the night progresses. But yeah, very excited for tonight. Very excited to be streaming for Race Spec. And I believe we do have a couple of cars that are now just exiting the circuit, making their way around for their out laps, their installation laps. Guardian, what will the drivers be looking for here early on in what looks to be a dry qualifying session here in Spa-Francorchamps?
Well, I mean, as you said, it's a dry qualifying session, so the guys they've got to keep an eye on the tyre temps. That's going to be the main issue. They don't want to spin up the tyres too much, and they just want to really be smooth here. Spa's a long track, and the last thing you want heading into the final sector, and particularly toward Blanchimont, is overheated tyres and spinning out through that particularly fast sector of the track.
Of course, a rather fast, quick section. Of course, in Sector 3, that includes 2 right-handers, Campus and Stavelo, 2 left-handers in the curve, Paul Ferrer and Blanchimont, and then into the bus stop chicane, slowing it all down from over 320 kilometers per hour. But a bit of an unknown driver lineup for us, both being new to race spec. But Guardian, just if you were to take a pick and say this guy's going to get the pole, who would your money be on, sir?
Look, at this point, I think it's a little too early to tell. I mean, I've seen a couple of these boys in the British leagues, so with a lot of unknowns and us having not really seen these guys in action, I think it's a little too early to tell. But I think these first bank laps should give us a fairly good idea.
A rather good, rather political answer. We're going to go on board here to start off the night with Data in the Alpine as he comes through La Source, turn 1, tries to get the power down. A little snap of oversteer on the rear as he now flies past, I think, an Alfa Romeo here into Eau Rouge and up through Radillon for the first time tonight. Guardian, take us through the lap here as he comes along the Camel Straight.
So yeah, he's coming along Camel Straight. You want the DRS wide open here. You want to be as far over to the left as you can be coming into the chicane here, and he looks to have it a little wide there. Probably the tyres are maybe a little bit too cold. I'm not sure, or maybe he's just feeling out the track conditions.
Potentially, he comes in here to turn 8. It's the highest point of the track now into one of the lowest as he goes through the left-hander of No Name, trying to keep the car together. Rather high gearing there for Data. He's up in gear 5 and 7 and even hits gear 8 as he flicks the car left and pins the throttle through Pujon all the way out to the extremities of the exit, and now flying in towards what would be here Le Fain, I believe they call this section of the track here. I think turn 13 and onwards into Campus and Stavelo.
I think a couple of the drivers are struggling just a little bit in Sector 3. We've got a couple of yellow flags that have come up. We've got one now in Sector 1, so not sure, but maybe the guys are just getting a little bit too enthusiastic on the throttle.
Stand by. Sorry for that. To be expected, of course, early days. The guys trying to feel out the track, and I guess no amount of practice.
Sorry to interrupt you. We've got yellows in Sector 2 as well, so unsure what's going on.
Yellows in Sector 2 as Data crosses the line with a 143.9. He's been quickly pipped to the pole by Mr. Morale, 143.1. Very good early pace, and Lights, who we know has plenty of pace under his belt, comes in with a 43.2. Talaxian, 44.6. Val coming in now on a 46.6. Merlin, he's about to go through Stavelo here. Let's go on board with Merlin through Sector 3. We can see some love for Team Huey in the chat there. But here goes Merlin now, the fast, flat out, Blanchimont, curve Paul Ferrer, such a spectacular portion of the racetrack here that, as I said, from over 320 kilometers per hour, slowing it all down for a lackadaisical part of the racetrack, the bus stop chicane. It's a flick to the right, quickly followed by a sensational flick back to the left on the power, trying to keep the car gathered up, under control, crossing the line. Merlin P6 on a 45.7 with just under 13 minutes remaining in this short qualifying session. Albino Josh comes in with a 46 flat. Rather competitive times at the top, but plenty of time to be found towards the bottom half of that top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guys are so close. I reckon we're going to be on for an absolute spectacle of a race. Now, if they can just go, first lap, 4 wide, 5 back through Eau Rouge, that'd be fantastic for us.
Look, we wouldn't mind seeing some spectacular action, such as 3 or 4 wide through Eau Rouge, but I think that could only end in one way, and that would be all in tears, sir. But it'd be entertaining for us up in the commentary booth.
Oh, absolutely, it would. And MJ just sneaking into the top 10 with a 45.3.
Let's see who else can we find out here on track. Potentially about to begin a flying lap. We have average only entering the track for the first time. Aston Martin, a beautiful striking green on that car. And full course yellows in qualifying can't be a thing, surely. But here's Huey. We've got some love for Huey in the chat. He currently sits in the pits, perhaps just warming up those heels, getting ready to go ballistic on the noisy pedal. Aussie with a Y. We have 2 Aussies on the grid tonight. We have Aussie with a Y and Aussie with an IE. That's going to be very difficult to differentiate, distinguish those guys on track. We also have Nuevo Sechuan. I'll do my best to pronounce that, but I may revert to just NS if he would tolerate that. Also, Zach. We know Zach's a very quick driver. He was P2 in the Pacific Elite Series earlier this week, or last week on Sunday. He's a quick guy. It's probably someone I've got my eye on to be one of the top contenders in this league. Mr. Morale looks like he has just bailed on the session. He's done a 43-1. He's gone fastest. He says, I've had enough. Is that going to be enough for Polo? Do you think a 43-1 Guardian could get the job done here?
Honestly, I don't think so. You know, the track's going to come too later in the session, and with Light and Data so close, I think that he could get pipped here actually. Oh, we got a McLaren off track, just a Blanchimont.
So McLaren off track in Blanchimont. Bretho has gone P4 and a 44-1. He's dipped back into the pits. We need to try and find somebody perhaps here on a flying lap if we can. We're on board here with the Williams of Valentino. Val here coming into the bus stop heavy on the braking, flicking the car down into second gear just at the apex there. He's going to bail out of his lap into the pits to lax in on an out lap. A few of the guys potentially just cooling their heels here, just waiting in the shadows of the Spa pit lane currently, ready to come out and maybe set a potential fastest lap at the end of this session. But Guardian, I believe you have some interesting facts potentially about our location tonight.
Yes, so we are in the Ardennes Mountains, and during World War II there was actually a massive battle fought right here where the Spa track is now, and it was literally separated by the Kemmel Strait between the Germans and the Allied forces. As well as that, this track has a 102-meter elevation between the highest and lowest points in the circuit, as it looks like average only getting a little compromise heading into Pouon by a Mercedes.
Very interesting facts. Yes, a battleground historically, but tonight a battleground for 20 of the finest Formula One drivers in the BC Pacific region.
Yes, and I think this race really, at this point, looking at these times, is going to be anybody's. I think a lot of it is going to come down to race strategy and, you know, making sure that you get the pit stop timing absolutely correct.
Well, here we go with average only coming through Blanchimont on a flying lap, I believe here is average only, as Zach does go fastest to 43.0 through the bus stop is average only, pinning the throttle, trying to keep the rear in check. He does just that, and average only is going to cross the line and go P5, a 44.0 for average only, a very competitive time there, and a lot of cars now entering the circuit. Action's going to come thick and fast here, so keep me posted if we need to jump on board with a fast driver. Let's go on board here with Aussie with an IE, again in Sector 3. Yorgos, thank you, sir. I'll just bring Guardian's volume up in a moment. We'll just wait for Aussie with an IE to finish his lap. He's going to bail into the pits. Let me just fix the volume. So I'll just try and give a bit more prop there to Guardian. That's as loud as I can have him in the Discord, so hopefully that will do the trick.
And Light is now on a flying lap in the Williams, and he's got a pretty on point through La Source. How's he going to do through Eau Rouge? Down the hill.
Let's go on board with Lights.
And it's pretty clean through Eau Rouge and up through Radion. It's very, very online, very, very nice.
All right, DRS wide open here for Lights as he comes into Lacum, flicking the car to the right, taking a piece of the inside curb, and again through the left-hander, again through the right-hander, looking like a very aggressive line here for Lights down into turn 8. Very quick on the entry speed, down to second gear to get the extra rotation. A flick to the left now through No Name, carrying a lot of mid-quarter speed here. Lights looks like he could be on for a very fast lap here, Guardian.
Oh, absolutely, and
it's a bit wide. A little bit wide.
That would have cost him a bit there at Pouon. I was just going to say it was very good work at the Haas to get out of the way in a very tricky part of the track. And
yellow
it looks
flags.
Like has retired from the session.
Bretho retiring, then currently sitting P7 on a 44.1. I believe might have been Huey Yadig with a 43.4 there, elevating himself into P4. The only cars yet to set a lap are Aussie and Noirville's Sechuan. But here goes Lights. If his lap is still valid, this could still be a rather competitive time here as he comes into the bus stop. Very aggressive driving here from Lights, but he's looking on point. DRS open here. Across the line, I believe that lap may have just been invalidated. It was a 43.3, so it would not have proved anyway.
Yeah, I think he might have realised and just started to bail out of the lane, maybe just a little late.
6 minutes to go in the session. We're on board now with Washed Data, I believe this is, as he comes through the bus stop chicane. DRS open, and again, a lot of the drivers really finding great traction on the exit of the bus stop, and Data does go quickest. That's a 43 flat. The lap time's really starting to plummet here in Spa.
And it's really, really tight as well. I believe there's only about 21 thousandths of a second that separate first and second right now.
Nothing in it at the moment, and probably one of the main protagonists, if you're talking to me and looking for my tip. I know we obviously should be unbiased, but undoubtedly there's talent in the Red Bull garage in this field, and here comes Zach, maybe looking to reclaim that pole position. But let's see, who else have we got out there? I believe we've got Huey on a flying lap here, just once again coming through Sector 3. Through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane, heavy braking around about that 100-meter board, I reckon would be the mark. And he's bailing out, coming into the pits. Quite a narrow pit entry. It can be quite difficult to navigate. Val, potentially on a lap here, just down the Camel Straight. Let's go on board with him.
Yeah, the guys, they've really got to watch coming into the pit entry as well, because if you're too hot, you do risk clapping that wall, and that could require a front wing change that you just don't need.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a very good point. Obviously, you don't want to go nicking a front wing end plate on the entry and spending another 5 to 10 seconds in the pits while the crew changes that front wing to get you back out onto the track. Maybe a fraction wide there on the exit, no name from Val. He may have got away with that, not sure. Through Pujon. Just once again running a slightly wider line.
Aussie with the knee. Aussie with the knee is also on a flying lap now and approaching Pujon as well. And it's very, very tight as he comes down the hill.
Let's have a look here at Aussie in the Alpine. The striking blue and pink livery. Looks like he's got his lines hooked up really well there. Approaching now the right-left chicane. This is turn 13 and 14 of Fanes. And the right-hander here, turn 15 before entering turn 16 of Stavilo. Gets the power down, takes a nice line. Almost flat you'd expect through there. In fact, he did keep the throttle pinned to the floor. Let's jump on board now for his run through Blanchimont.
Yeah, that car is very nice. It's very, very settled as he turns it in as well.
Well, here we go. Let's see what he can do. Heavy braking into the bus stop chicane, rotating the car to the right, once again to the left, and modulating the throttle as if there's an egg underneath the right pedal, gently on the power. He does that very well. It's a 144.2, and Aussie elevates himself into P9.
Yeah, all the boys putting on an absolute spectacle of pace right now. Very, very good to watch. All the talent out on the field. And looks like Noirville is on the flying lap now as he's going down the Kenneth Straight.
Just got max height as well. Looks like he was on a fly, but I'd say he's probably just about invalidated that one as he ran wide in Pujon. And there's a spin. There's a spin for Noirville's Sechuan. He's around, just trying to work out what part of the track he is on. But we're going to jump on board with Zach, who I believe to be on a fly here entering turn 14.
Yeah, Noirville's just recovering the car now. He's just gone. It's just after Lecon that he's actually spun it.
So Noirville around just in Lecon, but let's jump on board here with Zach because he's going to be looking to reclaim pole position. Looks like he's barely got any fuel left in the car here, down to 0.4 from what I can see. Fuel light flashing through the left-hander. 43.048 is the time to beat as Zakov comes into the bus stop chicane. Super aggressive, beautiful trail braking. It's third gear. Gets the power down, looks very nice and settled across the line for Zakov. That's a 42.5 exactly, and Zakov reclaims the pole position here in Spa. Less than 2 minutes remain.
He's absolutely obliterated that time. First driver into the 42s, and a nice half-second gap.
It'll be hard to see him getting around for another lap, though. Low on fuel, 2 minutes remaining in the session, so it's all to play for now for Dada. Mr. Morale is out. Lights perhaps might find the pace. It's a lot of pace to find. Near enough 8/10 to find the pole if you're Lights, but could he pull out a lap here? Looks like he's warming up, just building, getting set to explode all over Spa-Francorchamps tonight.
Looks like he's just finding his lines. I think we'll definitely be wanting to keep a big eye on him because he'll want to prove a point.
Who are we saying in the chat, guys? Don't be scared to get involved in the chat as well. It's great to have you joining us tonight if you are watching on Twitch on the Race Spec channel. We have got the title change. Thank you to my boy Plevs. But here we go. It's probably going to be between Zakov, Lights, Dada, potentially Huey, or do we have maybe an outsider from outside of the top 5 here?
Well, still on board with Noirval as he's just coming through the corner now. Hopefully he can keep it steady this time and not spin up those rear tyres. I'm a little worried about the tyre temperatures though.
Right then, so here we go.
Oh, I think he might have just invalidated that as well. And he's low on fuel, so he may be starting from the back of the grid.
Thank you for the update, sir. Let's go on board here with Lights, as he's going to be the first one to have a crack at bringing down the pole time of Zakov up through Eau Rouge, Radion, flat all the way through there as he's going to accelerate now. The DRS open to speeds well in excess of 320 kph, touching 335. Probably around the 75 metre mark here, maybe even a bit later there. Brave on the brakes for Lights as he flicks the car right and left through Les Combes. Max height disqualified from the session, and a bit of a snap there, but he gathers it up like no one's business. Descending now into turn 8. Second gear for Lights on the power. Flicking left now through No Name. Housing's exit looks good. Solid exit, plenty of margin there. As he plummets through sector 2. Powering on through Broad, slightly wide. Hopefully he gets away with that. Aussie has taken the checkered flag, the first of everyone tonight. He goes 144.2. He's P9. So all to play for here for Lights as he enters turn 13, 14, and 15. The Williams looking very nice out on track tonight. It's a 14.9 in sector 2. I believe he was positive on the Delta or negative. I just missed that. My apologies. But let's remain with Lights as he crosses the line here.
And I think as well, yes, Noirval has done a 44 and he's elevated himself to P11.
Well done.
Very, very good recovery after that earlier spin.
Well done. Here we go. Let's see what Lights can do. Gets the power down across the line here. 4 Lights. Does not improve. Possibly invalidated the lap. So we'll go back on board now with Dada. He is 1.5 tenths up on the pole time needed here. Dada through the final corner. Gets the power down. Egg stays intact across the line for Dada. He improves, but it's a 42.7. And he will be P2. Zakov will take the pole here for round 1 of the PC Pacific Series in Race Spec. Dada narrowly P2. Then Mr. Morale P3. A great effort there. Huey Dig is P4. Lights P5. Val elevates into P6. Average only in the Aston Martin P7.
And a big move from Clunky, who's actually gone up about 6 places into 8th place on the grid. So that's going to be a very, very good time for him. Very good position to start the race.
So a great job there from Clunky Boy. Talaxian P9. Aussie with an IE P11. We've got Noirval Setawan, who had a spin and then recovered beautifully into P12. The full guy Hegs, Aussie with a Y, Albino Josh. MJ online, I'm sure he'd be a little bit disappointed with a 44.9 and P17, followed then by Merlin and Max Height rounding out the grid. What a session, Guardian.
Yeah, it was an absolute blinder of a session. These guys are separated first to last by a little over a second and a half. So it's gonna be a fantastic race, I think.
Tremendous. But there we go. Qualifying does belong to Zakov in the Red Bull, taking a maiden pole position for the season, representing Australia. I think we got, is that Taiwan there for Dada? P2. Israel? Is that an Israeli flag for P3, Mr. Morale?
Yes, that is the Israeli flag.
Whew, making me sweat on that. Hey, I was one of the best at flag quizzes in my workplace when we did there's an app that you can play on. You do all these quizzes. Anyway, I was pretty good at the old flag quiz. Huey P4, it's totally relevant stuff. Absolute nonsense from the commentator. Lights P5, Valve P6, just a recap. Aston Martin, the leading one there, average only in P7. Clunky Boy P8, Talaxian P9. A great effort from Breatho in the AlphaTauri. I'm actually wearing, you can't see it, an AlphaTauri shirt right now, so go AlphaTauri. But that rounds out the top 10, and Aussie with an IE just missing out there in P11. But here we go then. The stage is set then for Spa-Francorchamps. Round one, absolutely thrilled to be here. Guardian, what are you expecting to see here round one into La Source and beyond?
Well, I mean, the logic center of my brains is, everyone's just got to cool it, be calm on the on the start, and just get through La Source safely. But then the action side of me says, okay, let's be aggressive, let's gain some places, and let's show everyone the sort of pace we've got. So I think we might see a fair bit of action going into La Source, maybe a couple of cars even running wide.
I'm sure there is going to be a bit going on. It's going to be hard for Guardian to contain his excitement, I think, if someone does make a move or perhaps go around in the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to it. Hopefully we can keep our emotions in check. We don't go too bananas. But hey, it is Mr. P and Guardian. And I'm not called Mr. P for no reason. So just before we do embark here on the formation lap, I'm going to go pee. So I'll be back with you in 30 seconds. Go, Huey.
All right, as the cars now start the formation lap, we've got the grid set. Everybody's ready to go, and let's have a quick gander at what tyres everybody's running. So it looks like everybody's going to be starting on the medium tyre. So the undercut here, very, very strong. It's just going to come down really to when people pit, who's going to risk it a bit more, who wants to try and make the gains in the pits, and what sort of strategies everyone's going to play. Again, Spa can be pretty hard on the tyres, so I reckon that most people are probably going to go for a medium hard strat here. But we might see some aggression further down the grid, and maybe even a couple of two stoppers.
I'm back. All right. So here we go, Spa-Francorchamps. It's going to be Zakov AU leading us off the pole. Data will be the chasee here. Guardian, is P2 potentially the spot to be at a race start here? Of course, we have La Source and then Eau Rouge and Radion, but that leads into the Kemmel Straight, which leads into Lake Coombe. Is P2 where you want to be? Get that slipstream, gain the extra 10 kph roughly in that slipstream to projectile your way through around the outside of Lake Coombe.
Well, I honestly feel here from having raced it 100 million times, it's been one of my favourite tracks to race, that you are actually better off starting in P2, and as long as you can keep the pace with the guy alongside you, you actually set yourself up pretty well for an overtake down the Kemmel Straight into Lake Coombe. Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to we've had a spin on the formation lap.
Oh, who have we lost there? Who have we lost on the?
It's one of the Williams. I think it might be the Fall guy.
That's an AlphaTauri, sir. Dead silence in the peanut gallery as Guardian calls it AlphaTauri or Williams. How dare you?
No, it was definitely a Williams. I just
had a moment.
I just messed up. Had a moment. Messed up the color identifiers on the race chart.
Unreal. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we go then for the race start. I'm gonna leave the spectator menu up actually, so I know everyone's names. But the grid is forming up here, getting ready to go racing. It's round one of the PC Pacific Series. Your commentators are Mr. P and GuardianRGR. We are about to get set here for race start. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show. Guardian, good luck, sir. Have fun. And to all the drivers, good luck. There's your predicted strategy. But we are about to go racing. It's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, are a light. And it's time to duel. Away we go. Zakov gets off to a brilliant start. Data in P2 coming across on Mr. Morale. Mr. Morale sneaking up the inside of Data. He may make that move into La Source. In fact, it could be a 2-for-1 as he gets the power down. Zakov holds on. There's a Williams, I think, wide in the back. That might be
Aussie.
Val. Aussie also pretty close to the exit, the big red sausage curve, but it's through Radion. Zakov is the leader from Mr. Morale. Data chasing Huey all over his rear wing. There's an Aston Martin dueling in the back. That's Clunky Boy and Val, as Val does make up position, but for the lead around the outside of Mr. Morale. He's lost it going for the move in Lake Coombe. He's fallen a number of places, and that gives Zacko some breathing space. And Mercedes bends around as well. Huge contact. That's Noirval.
Oh.
He's out of the race. He's made contact. Mr. Morale went from hero to zero, and he is out of the Grand Prix. Safety car on lap 1. Guardian, what have we just seen there? It's chaos.
It absolutely is chaos, and I hate to be the devil's advocate here, but I don't really think that move was on. Yeah, maybe, you know, safety car, give the guys a chance to cool their heels. You know, it's lap 1, you don't need to crash out, and that's two races ruined. Also, at the start of the race, we had an AlphaTauri having a bit of contact. An Alfa Romeo having a bit of contact with an Alfa Romeo. I don't know exactly who it was. I was actually on board with Aussie with an E, as he made a blinder start.
There was a bit happening.
Action pack.
There was a bit happening. Look, I'm gonna go the opposite to yourself, Guardian. I think Mr. Morale was well within his right to try and hold a move around the outside of Lake Coombe, but rather unfortunately, he's just lost the rear end, had a bit of a snap, couldn't recover. But let's have a look on that opening lap. The big loser there was in fact Mr. Morale. Noirval set you one, maybe an innocent bystander collected by Mr. Morale. We'll see what the stewards have to say. We'll let them do the judgment after the race. But the big winners there have undoubtedly been Aussie in the Alpine. He's up 4 spots, along with Max Height from the rear. He's also gained 4 spots. Hags losing out 3 places, but a brilliant start, it has to be said, from Zakov there to hold on under great pressure from 3 or 4 cars on the opening run.
And also we've got MJ in the pit, so potentially a broken wing from the McLaren there.
So MJ is now exiting the pit lane. It didn't look like too slow a stop. Maybe a potential tyre change onto the hard tyre. We've also got Hags. He's remained mediums, as has Merlin, Max Height, Albino, Josh. I believe we can get the tyres up, actually.
Yes, I've got the tyres up on my screen.
There we go.
But yes, definitely a very chaotic start.
Indeed.
Everybody clearly wanting a piece of the action, wanting to gain some places, and you know, I did say we did want a bit of action, and well, we definitely got it.
Hey, you can't blame him. Race 1 as Huey getting awfully close to the rear wing there of Zakov, who's just controlling the pace here behind the safety car. So it's an interesting race here. We've got Data P3. He's actually on the hard tyre. I believe that is the tyre that he started on. Lights P4, and Val has made up a good start as well. I believe he started P6, made a pretty decent move, I think, into La Source, and was able to get past a couple of cars. The move that impressed me off the start was actually Mr. Morale. He sort of got into La Source, looked like he was going to make 1 move, and said, how about 2? But drove a very nice line on the exit and got behind Zakov and had that sort of P2 pole position, if we can call it that. And I thought just for a moment he was going to be able to launch that one around the outside in Lake Coombe, and obviously the outside turns to the inside for the second part of that corner. It unfortunately lost the rear, but what happens from here, Guardian? What's the strategy calls? It's an early safety car. Could Data maybe strike gold here with a magic wave of the wand on the hard tyre?
I mean, it's hard to say, really. I mean, at this point, I definitely think it's too early for pit stops if you've had damage. But I mean, Data, he might strike gold if if the race comes to him. Those hard tires definitely going to be a lot more resistant to the temperature demands of this track. So yeah, he may very well have this sussed. But I think until we see the first round of pit stops, really, that we're not really going to know. I mean, he's definitely on for an aggressive finish. So you know, we might see him make the overcut work.
Well, we've got Lights and Williams, Lights and Val, both in Williams, quite high up the grid at the moment. Currently, both sitting in the top 5, and then Red Bull with a strong start as well. Has to be said, obviously Zakov leading them off the pole. Clunky Boy up to P6. He, I believe, has gained a couple of spots. and also Alpine. So there's a number of teams all running quite strong with both drivers at the moment early in this race. But Bredo, the leading AlphaTauri, also in the top 10. The leading Alfa Romeo is Talaxian, and I believe we have Aussie P12 in the Ferrari. So we've lost from this Grand Prix on lap 1. Mr. Morale in a Ferrari Noivelle Seche 1. Rather unfortunately out of this Grand Prix early on, and we should go racing here the beginning of lap 4 to resume this Belgium Grand Prix. If you've got any drivers perhaps listening to the broadcast on the side as they circulate around the magnificent Spa-Francorchamps circuit, nestled
spin from an AlphaTauri under the safety car,
nestled in the Ardennes Mountains. Thank you, Guardian.
And that's Breatho. He's actually spun under the safety car.
Thank you, sir. Anyway, continuing on, nestled in the Ardennes Mountains, if you are listening and you would like to receive as we get max height there with a 5-second penalty, you'd like to be interviewed at the end of the Grand Prix, please do jump into the Discord. We'd love to hear from you at the end. So that was Bredo, did you say, Guardian, spinning?
Yes, it was Bredo. He spun the AlphaTauri just after Lacombe on the downhill run toward one. In the AlphaTauri under the safety car. Not entirely sure what happened. Maybe he was trying to get a bit of extra temperature into the tires and just got a little bit too much of a pinch on the throttle. Safety car in this lap as well. It's going to be very interesting to see how Zakov leads them away. Is he going to back them up through the bus stop?
Well, that's what we're about to find out. So we're about to resume racing. A bit of drama under the safety car here, but Zakov is going to lead away here on the restart. We're going to go on board here for the restart with Huey. Let's have a look at the pace and see where Zakov basically launches. Is he going to do it before the bus stop? Is he potentially going to go through the left-hander at the bus stop and try and get traction? Obviously, it's an art, safety car restarts, trying to find now the element of surprise. So let's see. Just slowing the pace down here. And here we go. So he's launching just before the bus stop. And here we go. We resume racing here in Belgium. He's gone about 4 or 5 car lengths, maybe even beyond that now as we go through the bus stop. But Zakov is into orbit in P1 and cruising away, but it's quite close behind Huey here for P2 as Data is making a charge, as is Lights. They're all very close at a small gap back to Val Clunky Boy. Yellow flags at the back, Guardian.
Yes, just trying to find out.
Oh, is it Aston Martin? No, it's Data. Oh no, Data.
He's out of the race. He's clapped the wall. And that is his race done, unfortunately.
Rather disappointing there. The restart just went all wrong for Data. Found himself in the fence on the lead up to Eau Rouge. But on board now with Lights is trying to keep the pace and maybe find a way, searching for a way on by the Mercedes AMG of Huey. And I believe Aussie is rather close to the back of the full guy. And maybe down the inside here as well, into turn 8. Descending down the hill. That's a great move up the inside of the full guy from Aussie in the Ferrari. That's brilliant. Great move there. The best of the race so far.
Yes, and everybody else in the field just sort of going single file, all trying to keep inside the drive. The DRS zones are so important in modern day Formula One as well, especially with these cars.
Oh, Huey's out. A big accident then from Huey. That's debris all over the track. The Mercedes-Benz is out. And we do have our second safety car on just lap 4 of the Grand Prix. Huey has had a huge moment. He's in the... I'm not sure how he's lost that. It's the exit of Pooh on the lead into turn 13 of Fanes. But Huey has had a big moment there. And that's 4 cars out of the Grand Prix in as many laps. And it's our second safety car.
Yeah, I think it's possible he might have just pinched the curb there.
And Clunky Boy's into the pits.
Yeah, early softs. Looks like we've also got Talaxian and Aussie with a Y in the pits as well. So, maybe trying to make that undercut work, or maybe even going for a 2-stop strategy. Multiple
cars now into the pits. So Talaxian, Clunky Boy, Aussie with a Y in the Ferrari. He's in. Made a great overtake there. It was sensational to see. Going into Rivage. Absolute brilliant move from Aussie down the inside of the full guy. So they're all going onto the hard tyres. Rather similar to what we saw. Oh, Zakov is retired. What?
Oh, there's David.
Oh,
He's
no.
under the safety car.
He's out on the safety car. What is going on here? It is a case of the yips. It could be a full moon in Belgium tonight. Zakov, that is an absolute shock. Twist a minute type stuff here in Spa-Francorchamps. And there was 14. What has happened there to Zakov? From the lead of the Grand Prix on the safety car, we can only assume that he's spun the car potentially into the barrier. I'm really not too sure.
Well, it's weird because I didn't see the actual crash, but the way the debris was coming onto the track, it looked like it was coming from the outside of the track.
Oh, dearie me. Well, Lights has inherited then the race lead from Val and Aussie. Average only up to P4, the full guy P5. But we have a round of pit stops. So from P12 down, they've all just pitted 4 fresh hards. That's Talaxian, Aussie, and Clunky Boy.
And honestly, I think these guys that have gone onto the hards could be in here because they've done it under safety car. The safety car does definitely reduce the tyre degradation rate, and you know, if these guys can keep reasonable pace and keep these tyres alive to the end, we could see a huge charge from the bottom 3 right to the top 3.
Absolutely, and we see Max Height here up 12 positions into P7, Albino Josh up 10 into P6. The full guys gained 8 into the top 5, as has Aussie in the Alpine with an IE. He's into the top 3 currently, but all yet to stop. The cars that have stopped, just to recap in the first 5 laps of this chaotic Belgium Grand Prix, MJ Online, who sits P10, Talaxian, Aussie, and Clunky Boy, who we just saw in the most recent cycle, sitting P12 to P14 respectively. Mate, just to collect our thoughts and catch our breath, what on earth have we seen?
I don't know, but we've got Higgs in the pits right now. I think he's going onto the hards.
Let's have a look here at the pit stop for the Mercedes-Benz driver. He is indeed, Guardian, going onto the hard tyre, so he may just have a small advantage over the 3 cars ahead of him, as he's going to have 1 lap fresher tyres as the Grand Prix progresses.
Yes, Ed.
What are we looking at here? Potentially 16, probably going to be around about 14, 15 laps on the hard tyre. Will it last?
I mean, I think that comes down to the drivers keeping the tyres alive, keeping the temperatures under control. You don't want to battle too hard with these guys on the medium tyres. You know, you got to keep everything in perspective. And you know, these guys on the mediums, they've still got to stop. But these safety cars definitely aren't helping Max Height with that 5-second penalty.
You can't take your eyes off the action tonight, guys. It doesn't matter where you look, there's something happening. Absolutely entertaining. Not the ideal results, I'm sure, that those 5 drivers who have retired from the Grand Prix would have wanted, but it all adds to the spectacle. But hopefully we can see a little bit more of a spectacle on track as drivers go wheel to wheel fighting for position.
I believe there's actually 6 drivers that have retired.
I only see 5. I think we started with 19.
Okay, I thought we started with 20, but if we only started with 19, then yeah, we've had 5 retire.
So we've lost from the Grand Prix Mr. Morale, Nuavel, Setyawan, Dada, Huey, and Zakov from the lead under safety car, rather unfortunately. Calso saying smacked of the wall. That there's a violation. Moving on, Hegs rounding up the rear, the most recent to stop, and we should be safety car in this lap.
Yes, we should be going on to lap 7 as well, I think.
Here we go, safety car is in this lap.
No, I think the guys on the hard tyres here at the restart are going to be the ones to watch. The medium tyre runners, now their tyres are a little old. They will be looking to pit very, very shortly. Probably I would say the ideal time would be between lap 8 and 10 with these 2 safety cars.
Odds on a third?
Say again, sorry?
What are the odds on a third safety car as well here? Who knows what we're going to get on this restart?
Well, I think everybody's going to have realised after 2 safety cars and 6 laps, well, technically 4 laps.
Here we go, Guardian. Sorry to just cut you away there, but here we go. We are restarting the Grand Prix. Lights has bolted for it. Val's actually done rather a good job here of keeping up, followed closely. Aussie! Aussie's lost it, he's into the wall, the Alpine, another one. Bites the dust on the restart, we're going to stay with the battle for the lead. Average only is up to P3, the Fall Guy sits P4. Is Val going to be able to get a run and a charge for the lead here as we climb the hill up through Eau Rouge? Guardian, what have you got for us?
Well, Aussie with an E, he has actually managed to keep the car alive. He's got front wing damage. That's really going to hurt him. As Clunky Boy and Aussie with a Y going side by side through Eau Rouge. And it looks like Aussie's managed to hold that off. And we've got yellows in Sector 1 again. I'm not sure what's happened there.
Side by side here, it's MJ online into Lacombe, outbraking Merlin. Lovely stuff there as the McLaren driver gets himself into P7. Driving a very solid race. Is Merlin going to be able to come back here as we climb down the hill? This is turn 10 Rivage. Looks like he's going to hold station for now. Val just losing pace slightly with the leader, and then Average only and the Full Guy. Quite close together into Pujon.
And Aussie with an E, he's really struggling without that front wing. I think he may need a safety car to get back in this.
Very sad to see that. Another one biting the dust on a restart into that. It could be the new Wall of Champions at this point.
Oh, it really could. I think maybe he's just. I think maybe given how far up he was, there might have been a little wheel on wheel, or maybe he just
yellow flag in Sector 3. We've got a gaggle of cars here, and Aussie gets a great exit here as we come through Stabilo. Is a Williams off the track here?
That's Val. Val's off the track.
Oh, from P2. It's almost like don't get the lead. But here we go.
It really is.
Here we go into the bus stop chicane. Aussie, Talaxian, Merlin. You can throw a blanket over them. Merlin down the inside of Talaxian. Aussie, opportunistic. Can he hang this around the outside into the bus stop? Three of them separated by absolutely nothing. Merlin pulls away. It's now Aussie wheel-to-wheel with Talaxian down the inside into La Source. Is he going to get the move done into braking? Well, Talaxian's not going to let it up, and out of the sauce bottle spits rather, two red cards, one of a scarlet red Ferrari, one of a red and white Alfa Romeo, and Aussie's got a brilliant run here, now swarming all over the rear wing up through Eau Rouge and Radillon. Merlin under real pressure, Clunky Boy looking to get into the action as well. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, it's three wide down the Kemmel Straight. Oh, they touch. Talaxian Aussie almost bump drafting NASCAR style into Lake Coob. Oh, a lunge from Clunky Boy. He gathered it up, didn't lose it. Fair play. We carry on. Brilliant scenes here in Belgium. It's bustling and boom-bazzling. Great stuff, Guardian.
Oh, it absolutely is. I really have to appreciate how.
Oh no! Merlin's lost it. Absolutely ballistic is in the wall. Oh, it's a real scrap of the third safety car.
Safety car deployed.
Oh, boy. Oh, it's all happening to steal a line of Bill Lorry's. Oh, my goodness.
Now, this is going to bring Aussie with an A right back into it. It's also the prime opportunity for all these medium car runners to dart into the pits now. They need to minimize the position loss, though I think, to be fair, they're all probably going to go to the back. And all those guys who pitted early on the hards, they're going to get elevated. And I think we will see quite a grid change. We've had 3 safety cars inside of 8 laps.
I'm very lightheaded right now. The shades of the USA 2006, was it? Where we only had, was it 6 finishers? Cars coming into the pits, yeah. Guardian. Take us through the pit cycle, sir.
So we've got light and average only hitting the pits. So is the Full Guy. Now, looks like, yeah, so pretty much every medium runner going into the pits, they're going to want to get onto these hard tyres. And it looks like we've also got Clunky hitting it. He might be going onto a second set of mediums and trying to deliver on the. Oh,
it's a slow stop for lights, and he's I don't know where he's gone. He's just disappeared into oblivion. I don't know what happened there. Who's that for?
Replacement for Clunky.
Clunky.
It's a really, really slow stop. He's not going to be happy with that.
Oh, boy. It's incredible. Release the Alpha Tauri. Oh, cars tripping over each other in the pit lane and teleporting forwards and backwards. You just can't look away from this Belgium Grand Prix. It's absolute carnage.
I think Clunky's decided to go very aggressive here. He's gone to the soft tyres. I don't know. Maybe he only has soft tyres left, but he's definitely going to need to do what will be a third pit stop. Well, we will not get to the end on these tyres.
We've got very split strategies here. So now inheriting, just to recap the lead here as we approach the halfway mark, Talaxian inherits the lead. He's on 4-lap old hard tyres, followed by Hags in P2, 3-lap old hard tyres, but probably now the race swings in the favour of Lights, who's just come out of the pits. Fresh hard sits P3, followed by average only in the Aston Martin. A far from average result at the moment, P4. Again, fresh hards along with the Full Guy and Albino Josh, who have avoided trouble so far in the Grand Prix. MJ Online qualified, I think, P17. He's driven a sensational race. We saw him making an overtake earlier on in Lake Coombe. He's promoted up to P7, 1 lap old medium. So then Aussie in the Ferrari, 4 lap old medium. So then another gaggle of cars on fresh hards. That's Max Height, Val, who we saw having a moment, Bretho, then Clunky Boy. He's taken a gamble onto the soft tyre.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, Pete, that he's not going to get to the end on those soft tyres, even with the safety car. We'll probably go back racing around lap 11, but with a good 10 to 12 laps remaining when that safety car comes in, it's not going to be enough. He's definitely going to need to make another stop. So
he may take a leaf out of the great Blink. We saw him in the PC Elite Series on Sunday at around about a similar time, switch onto the soft tyre and nurse them through to the end of the Grand Prix, but it's going to be a long stint on the soft tyre. It's going to be a tough one for Clunky Boy. You're expecting to try and make up as many positions as possible early on to try and gain track position and then make his car as wide as possible in the latter stages of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, he's going to have about 3 good laps on those tyres before they start to degrade, and then he's really going to have to nurse them. That's the biggest problem he's going to have. And if he gets stuck in really any battle, then he's back in the pit, so I think he is switching tyres. I think he's selected the wrong tyre.
Perhaps, yes. Perhaps the game has absolutely done him a mischief as he comes into the pits, and it is going to be the hard tyre. But you know what? Not such a bad thing or a bad thing rather, to circulate under safety car for a lap. Put yourself into the pits, pop on some fresh hards, regain the queue.
He's on fresh hards. Sorry to
oh
cut
no,
he's on.
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir. Thank you for that. 4 lap old hards. Very strange strategy here from Clunky Boy, but that may be more of a case of the game than his own choice.
Yes, very, very much so. And the thing is now he's going to have a lot of work to do. If he gets stuck in any battles, he's going to be in a bit of strife here. But who knows? Yeah, maybe he can make them work. And those scrubbed hards, they'll definitely come to light a little bit quicker than the guys on fresh hards. But he is a few cars back from them, so we'll see what happens. They're definitely going to get up to temperature quicker, but at the same time they are 4 lap old hards, and they won't really be as competitive in about 3 or 4 laps time.
Well, it's absolutely anyone's game here in Belgium. We've seen an absolutely carnage-packed race from the start. An early safety car followed by back-to-back safety cars, and then a couple of racing laps before we received our 3rd safety car of the day. There's been a lot of drama. Zach spinning under safety car from the lead of the race. Multiple cars spinning into the inside barrier or rather the outside of La Source. Inside of La Source on restarts, but we carry on with 13 out of the 19 original runners, only losing Merlin from the most recent restart. And I believe we should go green this lap with, I think, 11 racing laps left in the Grand Prix. It's going to be Talaxian here leading the field. He has the oldest hard tyres of the group. But you would expect now with a 3rd safety car, everyone on the hards to get to the end. And here we go, Guardian. We're going to go racing again this lap.
Yes, absolutely. And under that safety car as well, Max Height has actually served that penalty, so he's right back in and doesn't have the penalty to worry about anymore. He's just really, and it's the same case with everybody. Just got to watch those track limits. So
great stuff from Max Height then to clear his penalty. So sorry, Guardian, we're just about to resume the racing here. So it's Talaxian that's going to be leading the field. Engineer can confirm he had to box to fix his wing, and he had to use a set of tyres to box. He was already on the hards originally. Copy that. Thank you, Daddy Yeet in the chat. Good to see you, mate. But here we go then. Talaxian, a rather early restart. We'll just drop back to watch Hegs and Lights all over the rear wing, and Hegs does go wide. Did get a little bit of a hit in the rear here. That may open the door for Lights into La Source. Let's have a look under braking as Talaxian pulls away, and Lights does go up the inside, keeps it in check in La Source. A slight touch, banging wheels, all fair in Love and War, and it's going to be Hags to hold on, but Lights going to be all over him. We've got yellows in the back.
Yeah, and that's Max Height. He's had a big spin at La Source, And also, I think the stewards are probably going to want to look at that incident with Lights bumping Higgs under the safety car.
Well, we'll stay away from that. I think we'll make no comment on that. We'll leave that to the drivers and stewards. But here we go as Lights and Higgs into La Source. Lights gets the job done. Then a fantastic move under braking into the entry of La Source. Higgs relegated now down to P3. He's going to look to come back. Average only waiting in the wings as well, chomping at the bit to try and get onto the podium. And a little further back, we've got the Fool Guy rather, followed by MJ, Albino, Josh, Aussie. There's a huge train of cars here. Very exciting stuff. Hopefully we can see these guys go wheel to wheel. What I would love to see is a DRS enabled.
Yes. 10 racing laps completed, still no DRS because of safety cars.
Incredible
so
stat.
It is. It's probably one of the longest periods we've waited for DRS. And if we just keep it clean for these 2 racing laps before the DRS, we might see some very, very good overtakes down through the Kemmel Straight and down through the main straight on the run to La Source.
Well, here we go. It's a battle for the lead here. Yellow flag's out once again, but Lights here through Blanchimont, just coming out of the throttle ever so slightly. You can hear the note of the engine just change, but here he goes. He's going to send it up the inside here of Talaxian, and that is a brilliant move. Textbook overtake there from Lights, under brakes, cool, calm, and collected. Clunky Boy picking up a 3-second penalty, but Talaxian now is going to have to show what he's made of. He's going to have to recover time here and try and stay with Lights within 1 second and hope the DRS does be enabled so he can mount a challenge once again for the lead.
We've had a crash, and that was a McLaren involved. I believe that was
MJ online. MJ online. I saw it. Haas, Albino, Josh going rather slow there as well. Looks like both have continued in the Grand Prix, thankfully.
Yes, I think Albino there. I think he took a bit of front wing damage. Looks like possibly an end plate from what I can see.
All right, let's see what Lights can do. Can he pull away with the lead here? It's going to be all about trying to break the DRS here for Lights. And for Talaxian, it's going to be all about holding on, trying to stay within the 1 second window to try and mount once again a charge into the race. But it also comes into ERS. Of course, we haven't seen just yet who's using what and how much ERS is remaining. Val picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. That can always come into play in a league race, 3 seconds could mean the difference between, 4 or 5 positions if it all comes down to it.
Well, it absolutely can. I mean, consider this, 3 seconds is a tyre change these days in Formula 1, so, it's going to be it's definitely, I think, going to come into play as we see MJ Online making a move on Albino Josh. Now, it's a very clean overtake.
Yellow flag, just trying to spot where that is. That is an Alpha Tauri, I believe, of the Full Guy. Maybe a little contact there with Albino Josh as they go wheel to wheel. The Full Guy now backing out as we enter the high speed. Right, there's a bit of wind plate there. Maybe that's coming from a little bit higher up the grid as we go through turn 17 and turn 18 now of Blanchimont.
Yes, definitely in a very precarious spot, that end plate. You guys have got to watch out. Light just hit a 1:47.2 fastest lap of the race as well. But we do have Albino Josh into the pits. Definitely a broken front wing for him there. Very unfortunate.
So plenty of action. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's just coming into the pits looking for the Haas garage now, and we'll see what he goes on to. If he's got a set of fresh mediums, he could get a grip advantage here.
So plenty of action out on the track at the moment.
And he's gone on to fresh soft tyres.
Fresh softs then for Albino Josh. Going to have to get those 9 laps to the end. With the field just spreading out a little bit, Talaxian just losing pace with the leader of Lights. We have another incident in sector 1 and 2. We'll just come back to Guardian for that one in a moment, because we're about to see Average Only mounted charge for P2 on Talaxian. It looks like Average Only has plenty of pace here in the Aston Martin, so we'll stay with this battle for now. As they approach Pujon through the fast left-hander. Average Only right up the chuff of Talaxian, probably being affected ever so slightly by the dirty air, but not being thrown by that as he follows once again closely into turns 13 and through the left of turn 14. On board now, the Aston Martin driver.
Yeah, that yellow flag was for Clunky Boy in the Red Bull. Also, we've got yellow flags in sector 2 and 3 now as well. I'm not quite sure what that is for.
I think Aussie's gone around in the Alpine, but we'll just keep an eye on this battle towards the front here. Lights pulling away. He's broken out to a 3-second gap and has pulled fastest lap. Average Only not able to close in there into the bus stop chicane. Do we have DRS, or is it about to be activated? Fastest lap for lights of 46.9.
Yeah, so DRS will be activated this lap as they cross the line. It looks like we've got.
Well, he'll cross the.
Big spin between the fall guy and Max Height in the bus stop chicane there.
Copy that. Well, he's going to pass the detection zone now, just on the exit of La Source, and hopefully for the first time today, we're going to see the DRS wing in action here as we go down the Camel Straight. There we go. The flap opens wide here of average only, and he's going to try and mount a serious challenge here for P2, looking to take that away from Talaxian, but Talaxian's done well there as he holds on through the entry of Lacombe.
Yeah, and it was the AlphaTauri of Breather that's had to come into the pits for a front wing change as well. There
we go.
Probably what those yellow flags for.
Clunky Boy and the Fool Guy doing battle there. The Fool Guy making the pass, and a little bit further back, Aussie and Max Height doing duel. So a couple of little squabbles. Albino Josh a bit further back. He's under pressure from Bretho. Let's just have a look here towards the rear, trying to give everyone a bit of screen time. Let's see if Bretho can come back in, maybe make a bit of a send into La Source. He thinks better of that, and back towards the front. Let's have a look at what's going on. So we've got average only once again trying to make a charge to P2 in this race as Lights pulls further and further away. He's just about getting away with the race, but you never know because he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. So all of a second, that 4.5 second advantage becomes just 1.5. And another mistake, Talaxian average only could find themselves on the top step of this podium.
Oh, they absolutely could. And this battle between the Fall Guy and Clunky Boy rages on as they are now on the approach to Blanchimont. And Clunky Boy will definitely get the DRS on the run to La Source if he can keep it clean.
Well, there we go. It's a DRS into La Source for average only, but once again separated by absolutely nothing. Front wing to rear wing, and the battle wages on in the mountains of the Ardennes. Up through Eau Rouge now, following closely behind average only Talaxian. It's a ding-dong battle. Are we going to see average only fly on by this time? Down the Camel Straight we go, but there's no humps on this Camel. Average only breezes on by Talaxian into P2. He's going to hit the anchors, slow it all down, and he may just pull away from Talaxian here.
Yeah, so I think the Fall Guy's got about 6 tenths on Clunky, but Clunky will get that DRS flap open. And it looks as well like Aussie with an E joining in on the action with his DRS wing open.
I'm sure Aussie's going to be very punchy here, looking to make up lost positions. He's done well to keep himself in the race, and as it stands, he is going to be in the top 10, but let's see if he's got a bit of pace here to use to maybe promote himself potentially into the top 8. It's a bit of a break then back to Albino Josh and Bretho. Still that battle wages on. Max Height, a bit of a gap, 3.5 seconds from Civilization.
Yes, and that gap is going to be getting precarious.
Oh, no, Hags has gone around from P5. He finds himself pointing in the wrong direction. Looks like he's got himself back together. Val is going to go past him. So Val now is into P6. MJ P5. Aussie P4. Talaxian sitting P3. Remember, Lights has a 3-second penalty here, and average only has closed the gap there to just 3.5. So it's only a net advantage of 6 tenths right now for Lights.
Yeah, average only really at this point just needs to sit back and rein this gap into under 3 seconds. He doesn't necessarily need to overtake him for that penalty.
Well, we could be set here. I tell you what, Guardian, mate, we could be set here for a grandstand finish. It's taken a while to get going here, but now we are going. I tell you what, don't look away, because we're set for an enthralling and captivating finish to round 1 of the PC Pacific Series here tonight from the Race Spec Esports League. As we see Clunky Boy trying to find a way to crawl over the back of the Fall Guy, who's also, I'll tell you what, he's also not too far behind Hags. The gap there just 1.6, but Aussie is all over the back here of Clunky Boy. He pulls out to the left around the outside as we go down the Camel Straight. He's got DRS wide open, and unfortunately Clunky Boy will find himself helpless to resist Aussie flying on by and capturing P9. Now let's see what Aussie can do here. Can he crack on and find perhaps P8 and P7? That's what I'm very keen to see. Undoubtedly a bit of pace in that Alpine. It's just going to be about keeping it on track and staying in control. The Fall Guy, has to be said, driving very nicely. Consistent race from him in P8. And who knows how this is going to end. I mean, anyone right now could find themselves up the order come lap 22 in this Grand Prix.
Oh, absolutely, and I think Light was just gathering up some ERS because he's actually started to pull that gap out now, and it's out to 8/10 net now.
Looks like he's sitting at around about 20 to 30% juice. If we have a look at average only, he looks to be about the same. Talaxian down at 22%. Not sure how accurate these ERS ratings are, but a lot of the drivers seem to be between 20 and 30%.
Yeah, so everyone very, very close on the ERS. Everyone's clearly pushing. Everyone, they all want those results, and 1 point makes a difference in Formula One. It's absolutely true. If we go back to 1976 at Fuji, where James Hunt actually won the World Championship by a single point over the late Niki Lauda.
Absolutely, all to play for, one position. You never know what difference that could make come the end of a championship season. You're 100% spot on if, a race comes down to something like 2021, where we had Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton go ding-dong in Abu Dhabi, winner takes all. Points are absolutely not to be underestimated in any Grand Prix. And let's just take this moment while we have a little bit of a quiet period in the race just to recap the order. So we have Lights in the lead. He does have next to his name a 3-second penalty that eradicates his advantage to just 9/10 currently. But P2 is Aston Martin. It's average only, followed by a P3 for Talaxian in the Alfa Romeo, driving a very interesting race. Aussie sits P4. He's battled on in the Ferrari. MJ Online has also had an adventure, as have many of the drivers in this grid today. He sits P5. Valentino is P6. Heggs P7. The full guy running in P8, being chased currently by Aussie with an IE in the Alpine P9. Clunky Boy currently rounding out the top 10 and battling on. Not lost yet. Breatho, Albino, Josh, and Max Height. Guardian, if you were to pick a star performer so far through 17 laps of the Grand Prix, who would you pick B for driver of the day?
I would have to pick MJ. He started P17. He's gained 12 places. He's kept his nose clean. It's been a fantastic race from him, and I definitely think he deserves driver of the day today.
Fair enough. Guys in the chat, if you have been watching on this broadcast, let us know in the chat, who would your say be for driver of the day? We will absolutely try and get some drivers on the stream for some interviews at the conclusion of the Grand Prix. But for now, Lights has the lead, just extending that gap. And we see Aussie into the pits.
Yes, I'm not sure what's going on there. He may be making a play for fastest lap, though.
He's gone onto softs. He has gone onto the softs. So Aussie's going to drop down the order here. Going to be interesting to see how many positions he'll be able to pull back by the end of this race. But that promotes MJ up to P4. It's a bit of a battle happening here. The full guy, he's all over the back of Aussie. Let's go on board through Eau Rouge with the full guy. Up through Radion. He's going to get DRS and potentially use a bit of ERS here. 75%. He's got plenty of battery here, the full guy. Aussie ducking and darting. Here he goes. He's going to go to the outside. Aussie gives him the squeeze. The full guy can't quite make a move stick in Lecum. So Aussie hangs on for now. Sorry, Guardian.
Yes, we just had some tyre stat updates come through. So average only sitting at roughly about 35% average on his hard tyres, and Talaxian behind him, about 3.5 seconds back, but almost at 50%, sitting on roughly about 46% on his tyres. So average only definitely has the tyre advantage at the moment.
Average only currently sitting in P2. So bit of a battle here though for the podium. Is it? No, sorry, for P4 as Val and MJ Online find themselves currently 11.5 seconds off P3, but this looks like it's going to be a little bit saucy, potentially into the sauce.
Yes, definitely, and I think at this point, MJ's just keeping it cool, just thinking, okay, well, Val's behind me, but he's got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So even if he does get past at this late stage, I just have to stay within 3 seconds of him.
That's it. It's not something we spoke about too much today, but the racecraft can be ever so important in the course of a league race as well.
Yeah, and it looks like Val trying to make a move into La Source, and...
Oh, contact! A little bit of contact there. Front wing to rear tyre. It looks like Val just about escapes damage. Maybe just testing the steering there, just making sure all is good. But it was a high risk for not too much reward there for Valentino. But MJ, I think he's got away unscathed from that one, Guardian.
Yeah, he absolutely has there. I think that was probably a little bit too aggressive from Val. He was very, very shallow coming into La Source. So he didn't exactly have the greatest line. He really needed to be actually a wheel ahead to make that work. And I think it was just, you know, overreaching just a little bit.
Here we go, the Full Guy and Aussie once again doing battle, and once again the Full Guy holding on through the accident of La Source. You probably expect the next overtaking, that's a new one. The next overtaking opportunity potentially to be somewhere around Blanchimont, the bus stop chicane perhaps, but this battle is a great one. It's waging on for laps. And just a quick look back to the front of the field lights. Maintaining the gap, it still currently sits at 4.2 seconds to Laxi, and then a further 5.7 back, rounding out the podium. But, you know, if we've learned anything in this race, it's to expect the unexpected. And Val wheeling up once again. I think Val may be thinking if he can actually get past MJ, who's making his car as wide as possible, perhaps he could break that 3-second gap. 3.5 laps to go. It wouldn't be, you know, impossible.
No, it wouldn't. And meanwhile, further back, Aussie with the wide, putting all sorts of pressure. Oh, he's just gone wide as well in Sector 3. We've got yellow flags. He's had a big spin.
And Higgs
with a 3-second time penalty as well.
There we go. Let's keep an eye on this battle. So Val went for a move into La Source. It didn't quite go as planned, but let's see this time. Let's go on board then with the Williams drivers a little bit further back this time, under braking. Looks like he thinks better of it, just keeps himself in check. There's a very long camel straight where you could probably get a bit of a slingshot, make a move around the outside or the inside of the source, depending on what way the driver is shown. So let's stay with him on board here and take a look at what Val does. An exciting driver to watch, has to be said, but here we go. ERS is down to 17%, 10%, DRS wide open, and he is going to slingshot past MJ Online, who tucks in behind. Under braking, Valtino does hold on there, so that is lovely driving from the young man. And is he able now to pull out a 3-second gap and hold position as Bredo has crashed late on in the Grand Prix?
Yes, and Val there also was weaving down the Camel Straight, just trying to break that toe, which is not a bad strategy because you don't really want to give the guy behind you that toe, especially when you're trying to break a gap. And he really has to put some hard work in now to get that 3-second gap out there. He's doing a pretty good job with it at 1.6 seconds now. He's
indeed in big battle here. It's Hags leading the Full Guy, leading Aussie. Just trying to stay with the pack is Aussie. He's driven a very solid race. Does he have a move or two left? Is he waiting for the right moment to pounce potentially? But Hags leading the charge here in P6.
Yes, well, Hags is also
oh no, Hags! Hags has lost it late on the pressure. Builds and he's cooked it. Absolutely gone around there, Hags. He's going to get it going again. He's got to try and put the foot through it and keep going because there's still points to play for. The Mercedes driver, rather unfortunate. It's almost sad to see the Full Guy now inherits P6. Aussie will be licking his lips now as he chases him. But oh, that's such heartbreak for Hags. Such heartbreak, mate.
Oh, absolutely, very, very unfortunate. I think we're about to see a 3, maybe 4 car DRS train down the.
Aussie was wide. Aussie was over the curbs. On the exit of La Source. It could be floor damage perhaps, but here we go now. Don't take your eyes off this one, guys. Light's running away with it. It's then average only. Talaxian maybe gaining a little bit of ground for P2, but here we go. Up the inside, the Full Guy goes past MJ once again. MJ driving a solid race, but he's just finding people left, right, and center to battle with. And I tell you, I'd love to see MJ get the elbows out, but he is driving a very sensible race. But the Full Guy finds himself in the top 5. Brilliant drive from him. Let's just have a look a little bit further back here as Aussie down the inside of turn 10. Oh, that was incredible. The second overtake we've seen down the inside there. Big balls move there from Aussie with an IE in the Alpine. Brilliant.
And don't forget as well, for MJ, he is nursing those 13-lap-old medium tyres, so he's probably struggling a little bit with the grip as well.
Oh no! Aussie with a 3-second, an incredible overtake in the turn 10 Rivage, but 3-second penalty. I hope he holds on, I really do, but you know, what a race. So many good drivers and just a lot of action in the second half. It's been brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think these penalties will come too much into play, except for maybe Clunky Boy, who's just gone past MJ, because oh no, he hasn't. MJ's taken it back, but Clunky Boy, Aussie, and Higgs all with 3-second penalties, so that effectively neutralises the 3 of them back into their positions, as they do have the required gap over Max Hyde down in P11.
Thank you for that, Guardian. So let's see how this race does finish. There's still some battles out there, still a bit to keep our eyes on. But today, you have to say, it's all been about lights. What a race he's driven. From the start,
absolutely.
he was in P2. We sort of spoke about that maybe being the optimum position for the start. He wasn't able to eclipse Zakov off the line. But obviously Zakov's spinning under the safety car, rather unfortunate. Taking him out of the race meant Lights inherited the lead, and you have to say, he's driven phenomenally. He hasn't looked back.
Oh, absolutely, and I'd just like to say as well, the fall guy, he's doing an absolutely phenomenal job on this final lap of keeping that gap. He's going to have to push a bit harder this lap, but it's 2.8 seconds. He might get fourth place still from Val with that 3-second time penalty, as we've got yellows in Sector 2 now.
Well, it's all happening here at the end of the Grand Prix, but here we go. We have to celebrate this man today. Round 1 in the PC Pacific Series, and this man has come out and has been a leap above, or a level above the opposition. Lights from Lights Out was able to get off the line, put the pressure on Zakov, inherited the lead, and you make your own luck. But this man today has driven a phenomenal drive, and he's going to come through the bus stop to the applause of the Belgium crowd, and today does belong to Lights. He crosses the line in P1. Fantastic drive, young man. And he's going to be followed by average only, far from average result in P2. And rounding out the podium, he was engrossed in many a battle today through the 22 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix. But it's Talaxian who is going to come home in P3. Now our eyes turn towards Val and the full guy. Val does have the 3-second time penalty. He's going to cross the line P4. But the full guy close behind. Is he going to be able to pinch it across the line? No, he's not. The full guy P5. Aussie with an IE and an Alpine P6. Clunky Boy 7th. Aussie with a Y and a Ferrari P8. MJ falling down to P9. And is it going to be P10? Hags, the switchback of dreams. Sensational recovery from him. What a move. Hags nicked P9, but he loses it thanks to time penalties. It was brilliant to watch. MJ P9 then. Well done, sir. Hags rounds out the P10, and battling on to the end is Max Height and Albino Josh. Brilliance in Belgium. What a race.
Oh, it was absolutely a great race, and Val doing a very good job on that final lap. He actually extended the gap by 1.5 seconds to overcome that penalty. The full guy gets driver of the day. It's a very, very entertaining race. Little messy at the start with all those safety cars, but after that, everybody just got off to some really good quality racing. Really a pleasure to watch.
That was tremendous. Look, I'd like to grab Lights. I can see Lights in the Pacific voice chat. I'd probably like to, in a moment, go and grab him and get a word from our race winner. So stand by, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try and get Lights in for an interview. So he's just on the podium, currently spraying the champagne, but we're about to be joined by the race winner of Lights, taking out round 1 of the PC Pacific Series for Spec Esports. All right, let's see if we can go and grab him. G'day, sir.
G'day.
Let me just get your volume turned up there, mate. What a race! Well composed. Talk us through that one.
Oh well, started off in not the position I wanted to. My qualifying lap at the start was the best I could have gotten, and at the start of the race, everyone in front of me just started DNFing, so that kind of led me through, and then I had people behind me that went really quite on my pace, so I pulled a gap. I wasn't looking at my screen at one point, and I went off the track and got that penalty. And yeah, I just wanted to keep that gap, so I just kept pushing. And then I went for a fast lap attempts after saving up on my ERS, and that's pretty much.
Yeah, we saw you do a couple of fastest laps. The pace was very good. We're sort of interested to see, once you got that 3-second pen, how the race would play out. But a lot of early safety cars, obviously tough for a driver to face that sort of stop-start style of Grand Prix. But you handled it very well, mate. You pulled away and drove a phenomenal drive. So yeah, congratulations to you. what are the hopes for the rest of the season? Are you looking to take out the title? Obviously, rather unfortunate for Zach to DNF today, but do you see him maybe as a championship rival potentially?
With his qualifying pace, I'd say he's probably a bit above my level. Really unfortunate how he got out. Apparently, it was a wheel disconnection. I'm just hoping for at least in the top 4.
Nice, mate. Nice. Well, you drove a great one today. Yeah, very unfortunate. So it was a wheel disconnection there for Zach, was it?
Apparently.
What a bummer. But no, you did well, mate. Champagne tonight?
Yep.
Yes. We love that. Well done, sir. Thanks for joining us for a little interview, and hopefully we can see you up here for a couple more throughout the season.
Sure.
Well done, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go, Guardian, mate. Couple of closing thoughts from yourself.
Yeah, look, I think it was a very good race. Spa's not the easiest track with very few overtaking opportunities, but I think the guys all drove a tremendous race. Definitely action packed. I mean, I asked for action, and that was exactly what we got today. Few track limit penalties, but all in all, a very, very good race.
Absolutely, yeah, we did see plenty of chaos. It was 3 safety cars. It was, unfortunately, that looks like a wheel disconnection issue for Zach, sending him out of the race. That is terrible luck. I mean, that's gotta hurt. You know what I mean? But hopefully he can pick himself back up. Undoubtedly a fast driver, so hopefully we see him in action in the next round. We'll head to Zandvoort for round 2 of the championship next week. It's been awesome tonight commentating. It's been an absolute pleasure. Something I've wanted to do for quite some time. So I'm super happy that I was able to get on. Thanks to Spec. Thank you for the opportunity, and it's been great to do it alongside a long-time friend on Twitch, GuardianRGR. Thank you very much, mate.
Yes, thank you for inviting me along to the commentary with you. Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and again, big thank you to Spec for allowing us to do this.
Well, hold on, because we actually have a couple more drivers. I'm going to jump down into the Pacific voice chat if you want to join me. We've got Aussie and Talaxian. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Oh, guys, what a crazy race that was. 3 safety cars. There was action and drama. We'll start with Aussie, mate. You drove a blinder there towards the end. Talk us through that. How did it feel making all those moves?
Pretty bad, honestly. I switched chains with high pressures, so I was at like 100 degrees the whole race. So I couldn't push very much. The hards didn't light up either, so I just made with what I had, and I spun 2 times, so that's not good.
Oh, looks like you handled it very well, mate. You fought back. Artie and I were saying, points can't be undervalued. You never know the difference a point could make come the end of the year. So to come back into the top 10 the way you did was good to watch. What are you hoping for next week heading into Zandvoort?
Oh, I feel like I could have got a podium today, so my aim's obviously a podium, or like high points, so 5th or higher, I reckon.
Very nice. And Talaxian, you, again, in many a battle throughout the course of those 22 laps, and you come away on the podium there. How does that feel to take a P3 for the first race of the season?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely did not have the pace of some of the top guys. I was probably, coming into this, I was telling myself that, top 10, some solo points would be good here. We had some crashes, a perfectly timed safety car for me to get onto those hards. I knew from Sunday's race that, the hards can take 17, 18 laps before getting towards that tire puncture territory. So just took advantage of what I could, didn't fight too hard, and just went as clean as possible, and podium came by. So can't complain there.
And it must get the blood pumping and the adrenaline pumping as you're going wheel to wheel with people down the Kemmel Straight into La Source. Do you have a favourite overtake or a favourite moment of the race?
There was the one moment where we're coming down Orange Radion and then into the Kemmel Straight. I think it was Aussie and not Aussie that just spoke, but Aussie with the Y and someone else, and basically we were 3 wide down the Kemmel. I split in between the 2 and then went side by side with Aussie through La Source, and that was a lot of fun. Remind me of our battle on Sunday.
Yeah, actually, yes, of course. Yeah, we did go wheel to wheel through the Source, yourself and I. It was very good. And
correct, a lot of fun.
I think we got that moment on the stream, actually. I think we were all losing our minds watching it happen. It was brilliant. So, yeah, you guys put on a great show tonight, and hopefully we have many more a good race throughout the rest of the season.
Nah, amazing. Cheers.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks. Thank you.
See ya.
Yeah.
Hello.
Ah, Clunky Boy. Hello, sir. How was that, mate? How'd you go out there?
Let's just say a bit of excrement came out a couple times.
Oh, boy.
On me.
Oh, Jeez. No, lovely, mate. Forgive me, terrible commentator, but where did you finish?
P7.
P7, mate. Yeah, you were in the battles there. I think you had a bit of a moment early on. We saw you in the pits, I think, quite early.
Yeah, I turn one. What was his name? Average only. He, first went left at turn one, then moved under braking, so I had nowhere to go.
Right, I see. Yeah, but you've recovered quite well. I think we saw quite a number of drivers that were sort of down towards the back that sort of fought through all the way through that Grand Prix, back towards the front. Obviously, 3 safety cars can help with that. But mate, did you achieve your goals for this race, and what are your expectations and goals moving forward?
First off, no.
Fair enough. Good answer. At least you're honest.
Top 5, but
Yep.
Yeah. But future ones, just consistent top 5s. That's all I'm hoping for.
It looks pretty even. Like a lot of you guys out there look like you can have sort of good battles, pretty even pace, and a lot can happen throughout a Grand Prix. So it's certainly exciting to see. So I guess at the end of the day, that's what you need. You need that consistency as a driver. But how do you find that? How do you as a driver go out week to week and say, this is what I'm going to do to improve my consistency?
Just lap after lap in bloody Grand Prix mode, really.
One lap at a time.
One lap at a time. Love that. Love that. Well done today, sir, and hopefully we see you in action wheel to wheel with everyone next week as well.
A bit scary going up Eau Rouge though, side by side.
It's frightening, isn't it? I had a few moments on Sunday where I was too scared. Honestly, there wasn't many of the 22 laps where I went flat through there.
Yeah.
I was really hoping you'd pull out with that clunky, but you stuck by my side that entire time, and I was like, back off, just back off.
I had to in the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew I probably would have been able to get you to pussy out at some point.
We got Wash Data in there as well. Is he going to have a chat to us just before we round out?
Yeah, I'd rather not mention about that.
Oh, how'd you go, Wash Data? What happened, mate?
Volley was fun. That was good. And
You were up there, weren't you, for quite a long time, and then I think we saw you in the fence, maybe in the middle of the track?
yeah, no, I spun on lap 3 or 4.
Right.
Like, it was on a safety car restart.
Ah, it was, yes, yeah. What happened, mate?
Starting on hards was a mistake, put it that way.
Fair enough. It happens, mate. It happens. All right, guys, I'm going to round out the stream. Thank you very much to the drivers for joining us, and I might come back and hang out with you if you're saying it about.
100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your message to drag you down, sir. I've only just seen it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you not join? Can you not join the lobby below?
No. Yeah, because there are no other VCs below the one that I'm in.
Oh, okay. Strange. We'll sort that out for you. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Race Spec channel tonight. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Hopefully, more importantly, you enjoyed the race, and I hope that you will come back next week and tune into the channel as well. Make sure if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, you don't leave without hitting that follow button. Jump into the Race Spec Discord, an awesome community, lots of great guys, great drivers, and a great team behind the scenes here as well. So we'd love to have you on board. Make sure you jump in. There's plenty of leagues, whether you're on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and whether you're in the USA, Europe, or the Pacific region, there will be a league for you. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it from myself and Guardian. And we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for joining us, and bye-bye. For joining us at...
I wonder